What a perfect Saturday night watch. Now, please join me in welcoming to the stage Mark Whedon, the director and writer of The Fortunate Ones, Greg Wood, cinematographer and editor, and Joel Ballinger, the actor who plays Matt. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm so excited to chat with you about this incredible film that we just watched. So I'm gonna ask them a couple questions, and if we have time, I'm gonna open up the floor to the audience if you have any questions as well. So my first question, of course, Mark, how did this story come alive in your mind? Was it a particular draw to the zombie genre? Was it going through the pandemic? Maybe walk us through the process.
Yeah, I mean, I was a sort of a genre lover growing up, so that definitely played a part in it. But it is very much a pandemic movie. You know, the sort of abject loneliness I think we all went through at different times was very difficult for everybody to deal with. And my family and I made a pandemic move, and we moved to northern British Columbia, to a place where I knew no one, and I knew no one for several years, essentially. So this is very much rooted, at least in its infancy, in that period of my life.
It's that constant shifting of place that you can see reflected in the film as well as Matt goes through his journey. So this film is all shot in southwestern Ontario. The forests, the landscapes, the abandoned cottages. Was it a challenge, Greg, filming in the countryside, or was it almost an advantage because it was so slow that it helped in the filmmaking process?
Yeah, I mean, it was hard kind of at first scouting all these locations and finding things that would work for something that, especially that takes place over multiple seasons, multiple years, finding the right spot for that particular point in time in the story. And yeah, I mean, we're just lucky, I guess, to live in such a broad landscape of Ontario that you have so much to pick and choose from. But yeah.
Tell us about the locations you shot in and what the timeline was like.
I mean, we were just lucky enough to have people around us that were able to help us with locations. Yeah, we shot a lot in Magnetowan, Northern Ontario, and Holstein. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I'll just add that it was a very long process. We shot over the course of about 18 months, on and off. One sort of bulk shoot with a larger cast and crew, and then Joel stayed with us sort of through the rest of it for the most part.
So Joel, coming to you, you go through such a drastic transformation throughout this film where you're going through a lot of an emotional change. How did you work through that as an actor? What was your process like?
Tell us about the beard.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think that the thing that was kind of easy was the way that we went about shooting it, because it was separated out. The beginning of the film was like we were around a lot of people, and then by the time that we shot the sort of like last third of the movie, like a long time had passed and things had changed in life, but also like it was a place that was populated. The like two actors who play Matt and Ash are two good friends of mine. We all like came up in the same sort of acting studio, and so the place was sort of like populated with all these memories, and then I think that helped, and it was quite a sort of like solitary filming experience in the end, because it was just like literally the three of us. So I think that helped, and then I don't know, just the passing of time, and I don't know. I think that in the aftermath of like the pandemic, and I think the human experience and just like life itself for all of us is like, it is quite lonely. So I don't know that it was like crazy far away. Obviously, I'm not that guy, but yeah.
So you worked through this over 18 months as well. So was it like every single time you were on set, how did you settle back into that character?
Well, I think because so much time passes, it was less like going back into the guy, and so much just kind of like, and the way that I was taught was like you could kind of like go from where you are, and so it was just something where it was like I was always kind of thinking about it and sort of like sitting with it, and then it was just, I mean, it was just like whatever was going on was going on, so.
I like that. Go from where you are. You can have so many interpretations of that I'm sure help. So again, Mark, coming to you with guiding these actors through the process, you also as director went from having a group of people on set to having just one person to direct. How was that experience for you?
I mean, logistically easier, but yeah, I mean, I'm very lucky. This is the third movie that Joel and I have worked together on, so I think we have quite a good rapport. And I think he knows. We spend so much time in pre-production talking about the film, talking about what we want it to be like, what those very quiet moments at the end of the film will hopefully feel like. And I think Joel, I mean, his process, and he's such a dedicated actor, I think he especially needs so little direction at times. I think he understands really where we're trying to go with the film, and yeah, this film isn't here without him, so yeah.
Yeah, okay, that I love that kind of collaborative process, but also trusting the other person to do their thing, almost. So Greg, coming back to you as well, there is one scene in particular I would like to talk about, which is the final shot that we see of Matt rowing out and the cottage is on fire now. How did you do that? That's my simple question.
It was a lot less dramatic than you'd think. It was, we were on the end of a dock. We didn't know how to properly light it while him being out in the middle of the lake, so we just tied up the boat to the end of the dock. We placed some firelight, candlelight. It's one of the few moments of the movie that we actually used simulated lighting. Most of it is just all natural lighting. But yeah, we just had him simulate rowing out in the middle of the lake and had him tied up, and that was about it.
Blue smoke in my face.
Yeah, oh yeah, we had some smoke going
Alex?
on there, yeah.
And the cottage itself is a smoke machine practically, and then VFX afterwards, the actual flames, yeah.
So smoke machines and the magic of cinematography. Those are the two ingredients. How, again, I want to talk about your cinematography and editing a bit as well, more as well. How did the emotional arc of the film kind of shape your work?
I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of collaboration with Mark, and you know, as much as it says I edited the movie, it's so much a team effort, just in terms of, you know, I would assemble and edit, and he'd give me the freedom to draw something up in my head, and then we'd work together back and forth of just how to land a scene, how to, you know, hit those moments, and, you know, it's just, I guess, the overall experience of working with Mark over the past, I don't know how many years of making these films and just getting to a place where we're comfortable and having the same kind of idea of where things are going story-wise, and, you know.
Yeah, for sure. It's all in pre-production, right?
Yeah.
That's where the real thinking happens. Mark, you said you're a fan of genre films. What movies inspired this project?
Yeah, that's a great question. The one I think Joel and I talked about the most probably before was actually not a genre movie. It's a Japanese movie from the 50s called The Naked Island, which I would encourage everyone who hasn't seen it to go check out. But it is a movie about a family of subsistence yam farmers who live off the coast of Japan and have no fresh water on the island they live on. So it's just about the sort of toil and the brutal nature of their life in sort of post-war Japan. Very uplifting.
Fully stole a shot from that movie as well.
I believe we did multiple shots probably. In terms of genre movies, I mean, I like the full cheese zombie movies, like Zombie 2 is a really amazing and great zombie movie. One I think we talked about too, is a movie from about 15 years ago called The Battery, which is about a pitcher and a catcher who survived the apocalypse together and just their sort of strange relationship wandering around the woods trying to stay safe. But yeah, I mean, I tried to consume as much as possible. I definitely read I Am Legend again. I definitely read that really crazy book about the Maine hermit who lived in the woods by himself for 32 years until recently. So yeah, lots of different things coming into play for sure.
This film definitely converted me as a fan of zombie movies for sure, so I'm gonna add those to my list. Joel, question for you. You said you were trained as a theater actor, right?
Yeah.
So how does that play into the work you do on screen?
I mean, I guess I kind of like it. It was both theater and film, but I mean, I think the thing that I took away from that and that I learned specifically on the second half of the movie was like doing less. Like I like sort of watched myself grow as an actor, and it's interesting that Mark like talks about those books because all of those books are like very, very quiet. And a lot of what I was taught was like you don't have to tell everyone what's going on. So yeah.
And I think the opening shot is a perfect example of that because it's just this, I feel like the camera just trained on you. You can get your whole life story through your emotions as you express them on screen. Okay, I'm now gonna throw it to the audience. I believe we have time for one question. So we will be doing this in a fun way where you can raise your hand and you'll just have to speak a bit loudly and I'll repeat it and relay it to the panelists. So does anyone have any questions? I feel like there's someone in the back. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah,
hear?
tell us, Joel. I'm curious.
How much weight did Joel lose for the role?
I don't know.
He worked with a nutritionist.
Yeah,
number
it was
one.
like it was all
We
done
didn't
safely.
make him do it.
all above board.
I think it was like 25 pounds, something like that. So nothing drastic.
Anything for the film, right? Yeah. Maybe one more question. Yes, right in the back row there.
Lots.
None, I don't think.
Oh, sorry. Yes, none.
Yeah, this was everything that happens in this movie. There was no Werner Herzog ask for permission later, etc. kind of stuff going on. It was all above board.
So many permits.
Yeah, all
Mark
permitted.
actually had a funny little saying that would say, where you'd be like we're just gonna do a little bit of light B&E.
Light beanie.
Very light.
Ask for forgiveness, not permission. Again, a great saying to live by. Thank you so much for your time and for joining
Thank you
us
very much.
tonight and for this wonderful film. And you can definitely catch the filmmakers outside in the space and be sure to vote on the ballots that you received on your way into the theater. This film qualifies for the Old Oak Audience Choice Award and the Fan Favorite Award, so be sure to vote for that. And thank you for coming to the film.
Thank you so much.